Two.
How does a pharaoh or Egyptian get mummified? Intro. I'm going to teach you how a pharaoh or Egyptian became mummified. I chose this topic because I read a short article about mummification, and it was very interesting. This inspired me and made me want to learn more about mummies and how they were mummified. There are facts at the end of my presentation, which I call mummy news. Let's go back in time and visit Egypt! Why mummification? Egyptians mummified to preserve the body of another person or animal. They do this because they believed it was the only way to go to the afterlife, which they believed was a beautiful place. When they pass away, the souls leave the body. The only way it would return to the body is if it was mummified. The soul had to recognize the body, or the body would not go to the afterlife. In the pyramid. It is a bad idea to go into a pyramid. There are traps and curses. It is said in the 15 steps of the pyramid. You will run into a trap, a tomb, or even be blocked by a booby-trap door! A warning to all. Do not go inside a pyramid because it is likely that you will die. In the cave. Mummies are not always found in pyramids. They are also found in caves. The life story of the mummy is painted on the wall. It would include the birth and death of the mummy. If you drew a line down the center of if you draw a line down the center of the story and dig, you will find the mummy. Are they scary? People think mummies are scary. They aren't so scary if you just realize that mummies are just dead people. In the afterlife, they are not so scary. Their souls are just enjoying their time in the afterlife. So for Halloween, be a mummy. It's not such a scary costume for some. How to mummify? There are 16 steps for mummification. Number 1, wash the body. Number 2, gather tools to take out the body parts. Number 3, remove lungs, stomach, intestine, liver, and heart. Continue. Number 4, cover the body in salt and leave for about 40 days. Number 5, put oils and lotions on the body. Number 6, put resin on the body. If you don't know what resin is, it's kind of like this big, thick glue. Put scraps of linen on the body. If you don't know what linen is, they're the mummy's wraps, and they're very thin, and they're kind of like a bandage. Number 8, place the mummy on a wooden board. Number 9, put more resin and wraps of linen. 2, continue. 10, precious things that were important to the person were placed on the body. Number 11, put the last resin and wraps of linen. Number 12, more linen straps secured the body. Number 13, a portrait of the person was placed on the face and secured with linen straps. Last step. Number 14, a large linen cloth was wrapped around the mummy. Number 15, paint Egyptian symbols on the body. Number 16, finally, the mummy's name was written at the feet. Mummy curse, fact or fiction? A popular story involving Tutankhamun makes people question the truth of the curse. The first person to set foot in King Tut's tomb was killed mysteriously by a mosquito. It is said that when he died, the lights in Cairo, Egypt, in which he lived, went out. His dog howled and dropped dead that night as well, and surprisingly, the exact same time when the lights went out when the person died. People believe this was the work of the curse. Do you? If you want, you can write me a letter saying if you do believe or if you don't believe, and tell me why. Pictures of mummies. If you're wondering why this is in a tomb, once they do the mummification, they sometimes the rich people, they would be put in tombs. Mummy tombs, in brackets, facts. It took 70 days to do the full mummification. Some mummies have a rare treatment of having their wraps painted. Mummies can be found wearing hats. People made a living by stealing from mummies. And the last one, if you broke your leg in Egypt, it would be wrapped like a mummy. Understanding mummification. Here is a video of an Egyptian being mummified.
This is a mummy of a young man named Heraclides. He died in Egypt in the 1st century AD when he was about 20 years old. Mummification was developed by the ancient Egyptians to preserve the body for the afterlife. Typically, all internal organs were removed before mummification, with the exception of the heart. But in this case, the heart was removed and the lungs were left intact. Next, the body was covered with salt and left for about 40 days until all moisture was eliminated. Perfumed oils and plant resins were rubbed on the body. Thick layers of resin were applied to glue the strips of linen that were wrapped around the body. The mummy was placed on a wooden board, and more wrappings bound them together. A mysterious pouch, perhaps of religious significance, was placed on the chest. A mummified ibis, a wading bird with a slender, down-curved bill, was placed on the abdomen. Ibis mummies commonly served as votive offerings to the gods, but this is an unusual case of a bird being mummified with a deceased human. Long linen strips further secured the wrappings. A portrait panel of Heraclides was placed over the face. A large linen cloth was wrapped around the mummy. The shroud was painted red with an imported lead-based pigment. This treatment is rare. Very few red shroud mummies are known to exist. Egyptian symbols of protection and rebirth were painted on the outer cloth with pigments and gold. Finally, Heraclides' name was written in Greek at the feet. Thanks to this remarkable mummification process, Heraclides' body is with us today.